So when we talk about data science, the first thing which comes to our mind is which are the areas where we can apply big data or data science. So when we talk about big data or data science or business analytics, no matter which nomenclature you use, we try to find out the various means of determining credit risk in bank and insurance companies. We talk about developing new medicine in the pharmaceutical world. We talk about finding more efficient ways to develop products and services. We can find opportunities in preventing financial fraud. We can uncover cyber threats. And to put it simply, we can also use analytics to retain the most valuable customers whom we have in business. So when we talk about analytics, we are actually ushering in a tectonic shift from number crunching to information sharing, and from information sharing to deciphering meaningful information and moving ahead in business. When we talk about data, we talk about the volume of data. In the last 10 years, from 2015 onwards, from 10 zettabytes of data, we are moving into 140 zettabytes of data. And in the next 4 to 5 years, we'll reach about 180 to 200 zettabytes of data. So you can understand the amount of data which we would be handling in days to come, which actually leads to the concept of a fourth industrial revolution, namely the digital business transformation. In today's world, and especially in the times of COVID-19, you can see that physical work has diminished and it got substituted by digital work. Anything which you do right now has a digital angle to it. So in this way, business is going to change, and digital business transformation is the way to move ahead. Now, when we talk about digital business transformation, we will discuss the elements of big data, business analytics, or data science. I have a request for the audience. Once I am through with my session, you would be at liberty to ask any questions pertaining to your understanding of this subject and how it can relate to your career progression. And I would love to answer each and every query of yours. So when we talk about analytics, we are actually moving from gut-feel decisions to data-driven decisions. So in the past, whenever we were taking decisions, we used to use our gut feel or sixth sense that this might happen, this may not happen, this is how we need to move ahead, this is how we need to decide on business aspects. Now, gone are those days of gut feel based decisions. Now we have data in front of us and we use data meaningfully. So data-driven decisions is now the biggest opportunity before you and me when we consciously or judiciously take decisions to benefit business. In other words, for significant business benefit, we have no other option but to use data. Now it's expected that we would be handling about 180 to 200 zettabytes of data. And if you translate that in business terms, we are going to surpass roughly $200 billion business in the world of analytics. Now that's a huge opportunity in front of us. So in 2016, when we computed how much of business in this world was in the form of analytics, it was roughly at about $130 billion. So from 130 billion to 200 plus billion dollars in 2020 this year is what we expect. There might be minor aberrations because of the business topography and because of the challenges of a pandemic which we have or which we are facing every day. So roughly we will have a compounded annual growth rate of about 11.7%. Any business which will have a CAGR of 10% plus is considered remarkable. So in layman's language, in a very easy fashion, if we need to define analytics, it is all about collecting, processing, analyzing, and interpreting data. We need to find a new meaning with the data which we have so that it enables us to derive deep insights as to how businesses or enterprises will move and how data will enable businesses to gain competitive advantage. That's the true power of data. So when we talk about business analytics, we are talking about an era of new technology. As Rahul mentioned in his opening remarks, it can be data science, it can be business analytics, it can be machine learning, it can be deep learning, it can be artificial intelligence. You have the various facets of new age technology, which is significantly impacting our daily business. For example, if you try to take a bird's overview of things which are impacting business, we can look at the manufacturing sector. So we can look at robotic process automation. Anything in the manufacturing sector today is automated. If we look at printing and design, it's three-dimensional. Today's age is the age of smart electronics. Supply chain is grossly over-optimized, and we use Internet of Things or radio frequency interactive devices. In the banking world, also, money has become highly mobilized. We have identity security system. We have forensics, both in the world of insurance and banking, and especially in today's world. If you look at insurance as a business sector, 95% of the business transactions are done completely online. When we look at logistics and transportation, it's a world of self-driven cars. You know, the Tesla cars, smart cars, hybrids, which work on electric power as well as fuel. You can talk about computer vision or GPS navigation, early warning systems to prevent accidents or calamity. When we move into the media and entertainment world, you have the Netflixes, the Amazon Prime Time, video on demand. You can actually use the Oculus Rift, which can convert a game on the cell phone which you're using into a virtual game, which is as per augmented reality or virtual reality. And we also talk about recommendation systems. Now, what is the recommendation system? For example, we all purchase things online. You might be using Flipkart or Snapdeal or maybe Amazon. So when you get into an e-commerce site and you try to figure out things for yourself, things which you would like to buy or have access, you will find that the moment you try to check or review one particular product line, a whole lot of testimonials or reviews will pop up. How many people have checked this certain product in the last 3 months, in the last 3 weeks, in the last 3 days, in the last 3 hours, which will help you or influence you in your purchase decisions. Since we are transacting business in the online or the virtual world, we need a recommendation system to influence our purchase behavior. And that's of paramount importance in the business world when we trade perfectly online. For example, if you look at Uber or Ola, they store your data once you start using the services. So at times you will get notifications that during slack time, you will get a 10% or 15%, 20% discount in fares compared to peak times. You may have an Uber Eats facility, so on and so forth. Now, this is all about recommendation systems. I am trying to recommend you to use or exercise certain advantages of using an online system or a delivery platform and enjoy business benefits. When we talk about the retail business, one of the biggest businesses in the world, in today's world, and especially in the COVID times, we are using internet retail big time. For example, we don't need to go to a Airtel or a Vodafone or a Reliance Jio store to recharge. We can do everything online. We have a choice of a 1 GB a day, or 1.5 GB a day, or 2 GB a day, or 3 GB a day, and we can accordingly pay online and transact all this which we require for our daily usage. So when you talk about digital marketing, we are talking about the entire business topography. Anything which we do is on the digital platform. Look at healthcare. Now, I may be a doctor based out of Bangalore, and I may have a patient 200 kilometers away from Bangalore in a remote location, and the patient is going through a state of urgency. So I need to, for example, perform a surgery. So the local surgeons would be there to take care of the patient, and me being a specialist through remote access can manage the entire surgery. Now, this was not possible a few years back, but this is a possibility in today's business world. So when you talk about healthcare, we talk about a huge impact which artificial intelligence has in identifying or detecting healthcare issues or challenges. Robotic surgery is becoming a reality in today's world. And what about wearables? We have the Samsung watch, or we have the iWatch. Now, when you talk about such wearables, you can check your blood pressure, you can check your body temperature, you can store all the data in the cloud, and suppose important data pertaining to your health, you need the gym instructor where you go for gymming to have access. You can transfer that into his system for him to understand how is your current health so that nothing goes wrong. I mean, I have my friend who passed away 4 years back, Ranjit Das, who was the managing director of SAP in India. And he was a very fit man. He had a great body, and he was doing treadmill, and he had a heart attack and he died. If he had used a wearable technology, if the data was transferred to the gym instructor in the health club, the gym instructor would have understood that he was not in the prime shape at that given point of time. And the instructor would have helped him not to exercise so much. So that is how IoT or wearables help you. For example, we as a school have a huge facility, and we try to work on sustainable development programs. So we may have a contact or a tie-up or a, what you call it, a meaningful business development with any corporate. And that corporate would tell us that, guys, you need to work on rainwater harvesting. Now, how do you use rainwater harvesting? You may have an IoT chip which will be planted into your system to check the pH level of water. And that is very much possible. So that's how you make significant use of technology in the various dimensions of business. Look at the telecom world. You can have voice over internet protocol. You can have soft robotics, hard robotics. For example, there is a bank in America which is serviced in India. Now, when America sleeps, India keeps awake. And all the call centers or the BPOs or the KPOs in India, they work 24/7. So they have voice over internet protocols. They work on the systems to understand what is the client requirement in the United States and how to address those issues round the clock. Now, this is possible when we use soft robotics. You can have various intelligent terminals which can help you in becoming more productive. So these are the various examples by virtue of which we can understand that new age technology impacts business significantly. Now, if we can bucket this impact of technology into various areas of specialization, we can have information systems. We can have cloud computing as part of information systems. We can have big data. We can have mobile computing, deep learning. For example, when we talk about deep learning, we talk about search pricing. When we talk about search pricing, as I said before, when it comes to Uber and Ola, they don't own taxis, though they are radio taxi operators. They are software companies. Now, when you talk about software, you have systems inbuilt by virtue of which you can offer schemes, various price points to the average user. So dynamic pricing is one area of importance which is attached to such radio taxis. And this is possible through deep learning. For example, there is a software called TensorFlow, which is used by Uber to work on dynamic pricing that is heavily randomized. If you look at the financial market, high frequency trading happens in the stock market. You use machine learning and analytics. For example, in the stock market, for example, you're working on bonds and SIPs or systematic investment plans. Now, if I'm an investment or a portfolio manager, I will try to impress my client in showing a very rosy picture that if you buy these and these plans, you will get a fantastic return, very high returns. So I can advise my client, you can go for high equity and less debt, so you get high returns. My client might be a bit choosy and finicky. My client would prefer high debt market and less of equity, so the returns will also be much lesser. So in this way, I can create a portfolio for my client. And once I create a portfolio, then accordingly I advise my client what are the relative ratings of each and every investment plan which I offer. Now, the ratings are discrete variables. And if the market doesn't perform as per our whims and fancies, then the rating goes for a toss. And when the rating suffers, my stock market suffers too. Now, when I talk about ratings, I talk about application of artificial intelligence, but that is deployed or employed by human beings. So when I talk about such AI systems in the finance market, there will be one degree of constancy in these algorithms. And this constancy would be a self-defeat mechanism for most of the trading platforms. When you talk about the marketing business, as I spoke earlier, you will have recommendation systems which will advise you to go for a product or not to go for a product. You all are very familiar with social media marketing, be it Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter or maybe a business platform like LinkedIn. You will understand the usage of internet and high quality or high user experience. And you will also understand artificial intelligence and deep learning. When you talk about human resources, in the human resource market, I will try to profile the candidature of people whom I would like to recruit. I will also try to understand sentiments of employees who are working with me, whether they're happy with me or they are not happy with me. And I will also try to identify whether there is genuinity in the data which I received from the candidates. So forensics will play a big role. So as a management student, you may opt for finance, you may opt for marketing, you may opt for HR, or you may opt for supply chain. You might be working with such domain specific areas, and you will understand whichever is your area of specialty, analytics significantly impacts it. Now, if you look at job opportunities in the analytics world in India, it can be the consulting world, it can be the finance or financial market, telecommunications, retail, it can be companies, the big four in the IT world like Google or Facebook or Amazon or LinkedIn. It can be old economic companies like the Tatas and Builders. It can be new business conglomerates. So this is data based on Glassdoor and Monster India. So there are two primary roles. Either you are a fresher. So people like you who come from engineering, maybe computer applications, IT, business administration, BA, BSc, BCom, BAF, no matter, whatever is your background, once you do a proper management degree, and if you have skill sets in statistics or advanced statistics, in understanding open source programming languages like Python and R, in understanding Tableau, which is data visualization tool, and machine learning, if these are the basic skill sets or primary skill sets which you have, you can fit into the role of a business analyst. For example, if you have a couple of years experience or more, and if you're a computer science guy, or if you have BSc IT or BSc computer applications or BCA, with understanding of stats and maths, understanding structured query language or no structured query language, it's like data can either be structured or data can either be unstructured. In today's world, most of the data is unstructured. If data is structured, you use SQL as a database. If data is unstructured, you use NoSQL or MongoDB. Now, when you learn all this, you will understand things better. You may use SAS, which is the most dominant analytical tool in the world with the highest market share. You can use the SAS software. You can use SPSS, which is an IBM tool. So it all depends upon whether you are opting for an entry-level experience or you have 3 years or 2 to 4 years plus experience in the market. And based on your experience or degree of experience, what are the possible skill sets that you need to possess? And whether in your management lessons, all this will appear or not. When we talk about the Indian analytical market, for example, if you wish to join Facebook, you need to understand 70% of the Facebook staff are into analytics if they are not into routine admin work or in marketing. Walmart, majorly into analytics. The Google India division, which is in Hyderabad, which is the advertisement division, works predominantly in analytics. Amazon supply chain, analytics. A whole lot of startups in India use analytics big time. In the financial world, you can have the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, the Deutsche Banks of the world, which are using data science for algorithmic trading. The trading business is run by algorithms. You can have HDFC or Axis Bank looking for data analysts, risk management companies looking for people at mid-level positions. Again, you need to have an analytical background. And the PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Deloitte, the Earth Andersons of the world, the accounting greats also looking for analytics people. Or even in the BPO and the ITS segment, you will have people who can fit the role of a sales analyst or a marketing analyst or possibly a supply chain analyst. When we talk about the various profiles of jobs in India, for example, if you look at consulting or the banking and financial sectors. You look at text analytics. So for example, I have a numerical presentation. I can convert it into text. I have a voice-based presentation. I can convert into text. And accordingly, I can work. So text analytics becomes very important. Loans and insurance underwriting is one of the challenges there. Fraud detection is there. Cloud engineering is there. Machine learning, algorithmic trading. All this creates a great fitment in the consulting world. In the internet companies, be it the Google or the Facebook or the Amazons of the world, you have the disaster monitoring system. If anything goes wrong, you had it. You need to create a contingency plan. So in the yesteryears, when we used to buy cars, we used to realize the importance of a car when there was a breakdown. Then only we used to go to a mechanic. With the advancement of Japanese companies coming into India, about 40 years back, when Maruti started production in India, we moved from breakdown maintenance to preventive maintenance. And in today's business world, we talk about predictive maintenance. We can predict the behavior of a machine and build in contingencies so that the maintenance requirement is bare minimum. So in internet companies, people might look at recommendation engines, Amazon Web Service engineers, customer relationship management, executives, supply chain guys, ERP guys. When we talk about large conglomerates, IT-based business, we talk about ERP, which helps in infrastructure provisioning. We talk about lean manufacturing. We talk about supply chain optimization and transportation. For companies which are into startups, for example, in Mumbai, there are about 200 tech companies or educational technology companies which have come up in the last 2 years. They are basically using IoT, virtual chatbots, or consumer analytics to understand consumer behavior, buying behavior. And accordingly, companies stack their products, health informatics, mobility, and computer vision. For example, you're staying at home and you need to get out of home to travel to office. So you are doing a lot of work simultaneously. You're cooking in the oven, you are washing your clothes in the washing machine, you're cleaning your utensils on the dishwasher, you're feeling hot and you're using the air conditioner. Once you move out of home, all these systems are linked to your cell phone. And through computer vision, you can control the mechanism on each and every machine. And you can put them on sleep mode. On your way back home, when you're almost nearing your residence, you can switch on so the food gets heated and the AC is on so that the moment you enter your house, you feel cool. So the type of profiles you will get when you look for jobs, I mean, these are data of people in the last 2 to 3 years who joined companies and got analytical roles. MSCI took people as quantitative data scientists, people who are using advanced Excel and who are strong in statistics. Standard & Poor's was looking at big data analysts, people who are looking at who are using Apache Spark, Centel machine learning engineer, Deutsche Bank data analyst, Zygus Consulting into supply chain pre-sales, Tech Mahindra senior data analyst, Intelligent Note business analyst, L&T Infotech, big data testing guy or consultant, Brandscape Worldwide senior data analyst, Media.net data analyst, Edelweiss data science intern, so on and so forth. So you can understand even companies like FedEx, which is a supply chain company, was looking for a marketing analyst. Why? Because competition is too hot today. You need somebody to understand what is the market sentiment, what is the market requirement, and accordingly you can develop your supply value chain. Salary levels, we can understand that 9.5 lakhs per annum is the average salary in the analytics world in India. And the growth rate of the average salary is about 15% every year. Now this is bigger, much bigger jump. Standard job which you get in sales and marketing, or in accounts, or in operations supply chain, or in HR and people management. So you will understand with this data that in the last 5 years, and especially in the last 24 months, average salary for people who are in the analytics business have significantly increased. However, if you do a deep dive into what type of jobs do we expect, you will understand that the lowest level is MIS reporting. Then it's data mining. Then you go one notch higher, big data. Then it's data engineering. And the guys who get the best jobs are working in predictive modeling. And the salary for people who understand advanced analytics, that is guys who are in predictive modeling, would be about 12 lakhs plus per annum. If you look at the various cities in India which employ analytics professionals, what would be the salary structure? You can find Mumbai would be having 13.3 lakhs per annum. But Bangalore would be 12.5. Delhi NCR, Gurgaon region would be 11.8. Pune would be 10.6. Hyderabad would be 10.2. And then it comes down to Chennai. So keeping in mind the various opportunities which are there in the analytics world and the type of profile or jobs, the amount of salary which you expect, based on the research which we have done in the last 2 years, we have made it a mission to be at the forefront of techno-managerial education. Why? The challenge today is your syllabus. When you talk about your MBA syllabus, you need to understand.
Nikhil, please go on mute. Nikhil. Nikhil, please go on mute. Thank you. Sorry, Professor, continue.
No issues. So when we talk about the syllabus which we have today, our biggest challenge is whether we have business analytics as part of the syllabi or not. This is where Universal Business School stands apart. So as part of our new technology series, we ensure when you join, you learn in term 1, business statistics. In term 2, you learn Excel and advanced Excel. In term 3, you learn research methodology, where you will study multivariate distribution and linear regression, correlation, simple correlation, multiple correlation, so on and so forth. In term 4, you will learn business analytics using Python. Now the question is, you might tell me, how can I learn? And that can be a question which will be in your mind. A lot of you may not be engineers. A lot of you may not be coming from IT or computer applications background. You might be coming from non-technical background. So the question which will pop up in front of you would be, how do I pick up all these things? Now the answer is very simple. Our objective would be to help you pick up the finer tools of analytics, and will ensure that in term 4, when you start learning business analytics, you will learn programming logic first. So everybody will learn programming logic first. Once you have a good grip on the programming logic, then we'll move into Python. And using Python, we will learn business analytics. In term 5, you will use R programming to learn predictive modeling. Now, when I talk about either analytics or predictive modeling, the use cases will be different. For example, students from marketing will use marketing use cases, finance will use financial use cases, operations will use supply chain use cases, HR will use HR use cases. So based on your area of specialization, which usually starts from term 4, you will have use cases with which you will learn analytics and predictive modeling much better. So when we talk about analytics, it is part of our syllabus because we call it a STEM-infused MBA program. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. For example, instead of MBA, if you pursue a MS program in mathematics in United States, then you'll be learning a whole lot of things. You'll be in India, and then you will go to year 2 in America, and you will complete year 2 in America, and then you can go for optional practical training, which would be 3 years. And if you can complete those 3 years of optional practical training and get for yourself a permanent job, you can get a H-1B visa. That's part of the big American dream. However, if I try to plot what an average individual learns in analytics and try to find out in our MBA syllabus, what will you learn? You will understand the difference which we offer compared to the market or the competition. You will learn quantitative foundation using statistics. Now that's subject number 1. You will learn data analysis for effective decision making using Excel and advanced Excel. That's subject number 2. You will learn new technology in business, where you will understand data science or principles of data science or analytics, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, neural networks, IoT. You will learn data exploration and data visualization. Data exploration using advanced Excel, data visualization using Tableau. Then you will learn Python programming, which will lead to business analytics. You will learn R programming, which will lead to predictive modeling. And in our syllabus, we will have web analytics or social media analytics, which is basically you will be learning Python or a natural language processing. So you can understand in our gamut of offering, a MBA degree or a PGDM program, there's a whole lot of technology which is used for you to be ready for tomorrow. So ideally, you will have a major specialization in either marketing or finance or operations and supply chain or HR. And then you will have the technology side to understanding those business domains to make you job ready or employment ready. So students like you will learn contemporary technology like machine learning, optimization, statistical data, which are relevant, accurate, and secure. Using business intelligence tools or quantitative methods, you will learn or explore the entire ecosystem of sophisticated technologies like machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence. From a typical jugaad type of a system, we'll get into something which is high impact, disruptive, innovative. And we will have SAS as the technology partner, University of Dallas as the international university partner to facilitate your learning. So instead of going for a MS degree in US, you can have a STEM-infused MBA degree in India at UBS. Now that's the advantage. Students who are going to pursue a Cardiff MBA, they have a specialization in year 1, which is called business analytics, where they will learn business process and data analysis as one prime subject and social media analytics for business as another subject. The same students can go into year 2 and they can opt for marketing or finance or HR or operation and supply chain as a specialization. And in addition to this, we'll also learn business analytics using Python and using R. So the idea behind today's session was, I understand that you guys couldn't hear the audio of the video, but I mean, from my side, it was perfectly fine, not an issue. Yeah. So question number 1 year Cardiff program. In the 1 year Cardiff program, what I mentioned as a Cardiff MBA degree was for 2 years. You don't have the business analytics for year one specialization there. In 1 year, you will have new technology in business. You'll have advanced Excel, you'll have statistics, you'll have multivariate distribution when you study research methodology. All this would be there in the 1 year MBA. I'm planning to pursue MBA taking business analytics as my specialization. That's perfectly fine. As I said, Navya, in the first year, you will learn business process and data analysis, and you will also learn social media analytics for business. In year 2, you will learn business analytics, predictive modeling, and any chosen area of specialization which you will have. Komal, for the 2 year Cardiff program, you will have data analytics as part of the course. And similarly for the PGDM program. Cardiff has a specialization called analytics specialization, which if you wish, you can avail. Yes, Aman, you will learn business analytics and predictive modeling in general PGDM second year. Yeah, Shubh, you will still learn business analytics. Achinta, you will learn research. That comes in the third term before you go for LinkedIn.
Professor, if you give me permission, may I ask one question?
Sure.
Maybe a lot of students may be hesitating, asking that. And I come from that category. So someone like me, for whom C and C++ are just the alphabet of, English, how they can get into the business analytics, or what kind of skill set they need to learn so that they utilize them into their other functioning area. We don't want to do specialization in business analytics. We don't want to do a full-term course in business analytics, but we want to learn some basics and without getting into the technological side of it.
Well, that's a good question, Rahul. But we don't need to learn C++ or Java. We would be learning programming language which is natural. It's called NLP, and it's English-like. The complete codification will be English-like, and we will be teaching everybody, irrespective whether they come from a tech background or they come from a non-technical background, they will learn principles of programming. Programming logic will be taught in the beginning. Once they master the art of programming logic, then we'll get into analytics. So it is not a challenge for anyone.
Okay, I think students
there are a few questions like BTech is required. No. Once you learn your management subjects, you have analytics and predictive modeling as part of those subjects. You master them. You can apply those as skills which you have developed when you get into the employment market. When you talk about startups, Byju's, Merit Nation, for example, Extra Marks, Top Scholars, Toppers, Unacademy, Upgrade, all these educational startup companies in India are hugely using data science. Achinta, you will be learning quantitative techniques. When I talk about quantitative techniques, I mean statistics. Statistics is part of quantitative techniques. So statistics and research methodology are part of quantitative technique 1 and 2. A lot of these schools call it QT1, QT2. We call it business statistics and research methodology. So yes, you'll be learning that in the first 3 terms.
Professor, one question which 1 year global MBA students are putting up, because you said they will not have the business analytics as in specialization. We have new sub-specialization in our global MBA. That's
yes,
machine.
New subjects have come up. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are regular subjects. Those are all compulsory subjects.
Okay.
So whatever you learn in the 1 year MBA, those are all compulsory subjects.
So basically, that's a new age kind of the you put up a lot of stuff.
Yes.
because they need to
People
take up
don't
tomorrow.
people don't have to bother about specialization because those are all compulsory subjects. They have to learn.
So there is a question.
There's a question by Vijay. Vijay, when you talk about business analytics, you need to be strong in statistics and Excel. I would suggest you try to learn or pick up these things as early as possible. We will always be there to teach you, but if you have a fancy or an interest to pick up things right now, stats and Excel would be the areas.
Professor, here I want to pose one question because you talk about Excel. Excel, Microsoft Excel itself, in very broader term. Someone who just know that how to put a few things into the Excel, he may think that I'm good in Excel. So can you elaborate what kind of the Excel they need to learn? What basic skills?
Very true. When you talk about Excel, I talk about Excel Solver. When you talk about Excel Solver and Excel Solver, all statistical formulas are there. You can plot and you can run a distribution. The challenge in Excel Solver is when you use Excel, you can work with two variables. The moment you have more than two variables, you have a challenge. And that is where people move from Excel into a programming language like R and Python. Because distributions these days are multivariate in nature. Prashant Goel, can you please suggest me the course which is best suited for overall business development and specifically for marketing? Well, you can go to Coursera, Prashant, and there is a program which will rob you of 10 hours. You need about 10 hours to figure out, and then you can get a certification. It's from IE University. It's called IMC, Integrated Marketing Communication, PR and Advertising. That will give you a good depth about marketing. I would suggest you can do that. It's a free certificate if you can complete it by 7 days. And you can spend about 9 to 10 hours spread over 7 days to get the certification done.
Professor, one more thing. I know that you work with a lot of students, our current student, and they have done a lot of research and publication under your guidance. Just request you to share few stories about that, maybe short, maybe for 1 minute, 2 minutes, that how you get a candidate to put the research papers at such young age.
So when you talk about research, research is part and parcel of UBS curriculum. I mean, we at UBS take a lot of pride in sharing with you guys that you all would be involved in writing research papers with faculties, various faculties. So when you talk about research, you have a course called Research Methodology, which will help you how to prepare an abstract, how to get into an introduction, how to do literature review, how to formulate a research methodology, whether you use sampling, which is simple random sampling or stratified random sampling, then testing of hypothesis, how will you create a fulfillment of your research, whether it's partial or complete fulfillment of your research, and then you conclude. Now, unless until you study research methodology, you won't be in a position to successfully draft a research proposal. Once you do in term 3 research methodology, then in term 4, you can create a team of 2 to 3 students together under the guidance of a faculty, and you can work in a research area. It can be a research area of your choice, of your area of specialization. It can be your marketing, it can be operations, it can be finance, it can be HR, whichever would be area of specialization from term 4, you can opt for a research activity in that domain or that area. And every student in UBS is into research. So when you talk about student-centric research in UBS, we might be having 60 or 70 research papers a year. So you can understand the quantum of research which we do with students.
And recently, one of your student got published news in a international newspaper. I'm not going into detail, but I just want to know how that student was feeling, what kind of the emotions he was going through when his article got published in international newspaper. Just to share
when I was very true. So first, when I was writing the paper with the student. We published it using 3,000 words in Higher Education Review in India. And then I got a call from the deputy editor of Gulf News that we would like to feature, but you have to bring it down to 700 words. This is where the challenge was in front of the student, and the student rose up to the challenge, truncated that 3,000 word research paper into 700 words, made it very impactful, so that in one shot the editor accepted it and it got published, and he experienced a new high.
Wow, that's great. So Professor Chirag is asking, just can you repeat the name of 7-day certificate course?
Yeah, Chirag, you need to go to coursera.org, Coursera, coursera.org, and look for a course called IMC, PR and Advertising. IMC is Integrated Marketing Communications, PR and Advertising.
And can you repeat the name of Excel certification program also?
Yeah, Excel also you can go to Udemy, UDEMY, and there's a whole lot of courses in Excel and Advanced Excel.
Okay, thank you. I think we have taken up. So Akansha is asking from where we can learn Excel Solver.
Excel Solver is actually Advanced Excel. You can also learn it from Udemy.
Udemy. Okay. I think, Professor, we have taken up all the questions, and I know you have the busy schedule with a lot of other activities planned for you. Thank you on behalf of all the students, on behalf of UBS, and on behalf of myself. I thank you for giving the time. The session was rocking, and you see that students are putting up thank you and a lot of love. Maybe by the end of today, you will have 100 plus fans, and they all will be waiting to meet you over the campus. So thank you once again for the wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.